This is a brain dump to regulate the nervous system. And if you're wondering why I'm talking like this, it's because it's so damn soothing to my nervous system to talk like this. And to tone, make certain sounds that vibrate within my heart. Now, my heart doesn't actually vibrate. Maybe it does, but what I'm actually feeling are the frequencies within my diaphragm. Somehow, in some way, science says that the nervous system, peripheral nervous system, the vagus nerve, such a strange name for a nerve, the vagus nerve. Vagus means wandering. The wandering nerve is stimulated by frequencies or vibration or sound passing through the palate. In fact, they say things like stuff like that, or just humming, humming, humming. Did you notice that as I got louder and deeper, I actually fell more into like a good feeling state, a trance? My eyes started to relax. My brain relaxes. In fact, my brain rattles around in its skull a little bit here, and that feels pretty damn good also. The muscles in my neck, they get real tight because they're associated with the jaw, and the jaw is associated with aggression, and aggression is associated with biting and fighting, and also talking, expressing oneself, but kissing too, softness too, licking too, kindness too. I don't know about you, but I'm a little crazy, dude. I'm feeling a little crazy too. So that's what I'm gonna do with you today, you too. So I started this video, or started wanting to make this video and getting caught in my head. I'm back here on YouTube, and those of you guys who've been following me for some time, you see me come back and go, back and forth, up and down, round and round, showing up and disappearing over time. And one of the things that gets me stuck and causes me to skip out on y'all and not make videos, y'all, is that I get stuck in my head about things I want to do, especially if the thing that I want to do is kind of big and it's going to be a cool gift for you. And the thing that I want to do, by the way, I'm talking this way, and if you're wondering why I always talking this way, it's because it's fucking play. Let me say that, because if you're here for regulating nervous systems and interested in that kind of shit too, like I'm doing it as I'm speaking about it. And I'm talking about my shit too, talking about brain dumping too, because I'm brain dumping with you. I'm regulating with you. And being silly, dude, regulates the nervous system. Regulates the nervous system. See, like right now my neck is tight and it's tense and it feels like it wants to do something different, non-linear, circular, weird, different. So, you know, I'm gonna cut to the chase, bro. Oh, because it's written all over this video. Regulating the nervous system has nothing to do with this. See, we want to solve the problem at which the problem is created, which is very much like trying to touch the tip of this finger with the tip of this finger. We can't regulate the nervous system from a dysregulated nervous system, and the way we try to regulate the nervous system is usually the way we actually got a dysregulated nervous system, dysregulated nervous system. And if you're watching me behave right now, this is probably the regulation of a nervous system, even though it looks kind of weird and I'm acting real wacky. Because I'm playing. Everything that is serious wires your nervous system tight. The more silly you are, like Jesus says when he brings the child into their circle of the brainiacs and says you got to become like one of these if you're going to enter the kingdom. That doesn't mean you have to be a silly goose like I'm being a silly goose, but it means that you got to let loose. You got to let go of the linear thinking. You got to get a little non-linear. You got to get a little silly. You got to get a little like not respectable, respectable. See, I'm not judging myself right now. When the judging mind is not available, flow is just there. Flow is going. And I'm not my sharpest today, and that's part of the reason why I decided that I'm just gonna be a loose dude in my video today. Because I'm actually regulating my nervous system as I'm about to talk about regulating nervous system. And I was getting caught in my brain about talking about regulating nervous system because I want to do something really awesome about regulating nervous system for you all, because you know that I can deliver on a great series about that. The only thing is that the way I regulate nervous system and the way I would approach regulating the nervous system and the way I would talk to you about regulating the nervous system has less to do with ideas, less to do with facts, less to do with information, and more to do with fascia. Fascia is what I want to talk to y'all about. I want to talk to y'all about fascia. Oh, it feels so good to be silly too. I get my voice to go high. Yeah. I know I seem nutty, but you could do this too. So fascia, why fascia? The series has to be about fascia. Because when people think about regulating the nervous system, they usually get in their mind the image of what we saw in the textbooks in primary school. It looks like it's a brain and a bunch of electrical wires shooting out of it, right? The brain stem, and then it just shoots out into our arms, right? The nerve innervations, the peripheral nervous system, and then it just goes out and it innervates into it's just like wires that go plug into the muscle, right? Wires plugging into the muscle, electric wires plugging into the muscle. That's kind of what we think of it as, right? There's the brain, central command, central nervous system, the brain stem, and then it's just wires going out and plugging into muscles. At least that's the way I thought of it for very long, and that's the way I think I was taught it, because there really wasn't very much talk about fascia. And if we're going to talk about fascia, right, because we're talking about the nervous system, and the nervous system actually also innervates fascia. Fascia, less than being about single muscles, are about, well, movement. It's more about movement, but how muscles work together to create movement. And so fascia, if you can imagine, which is a really bad example, but it's like plastic wrap going across, say for example, this shoulder and pec, right? And into the opposite lat, and then into this glute. So there's a fascia sling between this shoulder and this glute, right? Or wraps this way, right? Why? So that I can produce this movement, right? So I could produce this movement, right? So it's the fascia in here that has the intelligence that allows me to do shit like this, right? But also it has everything to do with the way I'm standing. Your body's not resting on your bones. Your body's being held up by the guidelines of your fascia. Why is this so important? Because, well, for a number of reasons. Fascia is the integrator between the nervous system and the musculoskeletal system. It is the engine that gets the muscles and the bones to do what they got to do, and it's also the guidelines. It's also the form. It creates the form of your entire physical being. The way your fascia is shaped is how your body is shaped, and the way your body is shaped is the way your body moves. Form equals function. And if the form equals the function, the way their body moves, body movement is inherent in all self-expression. So your fascia is the blueprint for your self-expression. What expresses yourself? Your soul. Your fascia is like the shape of your soul. Your character is in your structure, meaning you carry yourself the way you are. This is all very interesting and strange stuff. And if you haven't been around very longer, you're probably wondering what I'm talking about. But this is character structure. Character structure asserts that your nervous system is trying to regulate itself by defending itself against perceived threats by holding physically against perceived threat. Meaning tension in your muscle causes you to act and think and behave a certain way. And there are very consistent patterns of tension in muscles that create certain character structure types. Boom, I don't want to go over your head. This is about regulating the nervous system, but it's a little bit of a regulating discharge for me to talk about shit like that. So I'm talking about shit like that with you. But fascia, why is fascia so important? Because if we're going to solve the problem, if we're going to do the right thing by not trying to solve the problem at the level at which the problem was created, we're not going to try to think our way out of anxiety. We're not going to try to think our way out of depression. We're not going to try to think our way into emotional or nervous system regulation. There's got to be another way. Usually we want to think our way out of it. We want to take a medication out of our way out of it. We want to talk our way out of it. We think somehow we can feel our way out of it by feeling things from drugs and stuff. Numbing out. We can't get there from the feeling body. We could only get there from the moving body. The moving body, because the moving body is actually a moving brain, because the fascia is the link between the nervous system and the body. And where does the nervous system end and your muscular system begin? Where does your brain end and your body begin? It's all one thing. So if I want to regulate my nervous system, which will calm my mind, I gotta deal with the feeling. I gotta deal with the feeling aspect. So I move. If you wanna regulate your nervous system, nice rhythmical movements are helpful. Wow, notice how I'm speaking different. Like, I'm just feeling better. You ever notice when you rock a baby? Why do they rock babies? Why is it that the baby gets calm when you rock him? Well, I'm feeling a heck of a lot calmer while I'm rocking. So rhythmical movements like this regulate, they calm the nervous system through the body. All dysregulation in your nervous system will be experienced as feeling. We can't experience anything without a body. That's why when you lose your body, you're no longer here. You can't experience anything without your body. Really, you can have concepts, you can have ideas about things, but anything that's really here, not your imagination, has passed through the feeling body. That's what they call feelings. Do you have feelings? Do you feel things? Do you say, I feel like punching you? Right? Well, you must feel something and you must have a hand to punch. All regulation and all dysregulation is in the peripheral nervous system. It's in the body. Here we go. And so if I want to feel calmer, I got to do things like rock the baby, right? If you want the baby to stop crying, you don't reason with the baby. You don't read the baby a treatise on psychological healing. You don't read a book on ego regulation, right? You don't read it. You don't say that to the baby. You don't try to convince the baby. You rock the baby. The baby is pure unconscious. And the feeling body is where the unconscious is. You're no less unconscious now than when you were a baby. If somebody rocks you as an adult, it'll feel good. The only problem is nobody's gonna rock you. You gotta rock yourself. So right now, I'm kind of like rocking myself. I'm babying myself. And just like a baby or a child Like, I'm not using my adult brain to judge how I even look while doing this. It feels good, and I'm enjoying doing this, and I'm just talking to you, and I'm literally just bouncing up and down. That's all I'm doing. The child can do it. The child can regulate its nervous system if it's allowed to play. If children are allowed to do this and no adult goes, stop it, you look silly, don't do that, right? Calm down, you're making me nervous, right? Because it makes other people nervous to see someone free. And children are free, and adults, most of us, are not free. We can't just do something as simple as like just accept the fact that bouncing up and down like this feels good. But I'm making a YouTube video and nobody will take me seriously. That's not the point of this video. This video is a brain dump. This is therapy for me. I'm getting to brain dump. I'm getting to regulate my nervous system by playing in front of the camera, which is so damn nerve-wracking for so many people. I just share my ideas and I get a little, maybe you guys give me some ideas. So here's what I want to do. I want to create a whole series on, really it's about bioenergetics, because here's a few things. Nervous system content seems to be trending. Okay, great. But I know a shit ton about nervous system content, specifically, or I know a lot about nervous system stuff, specifically as it relates to fascia, movement, bioenergetics. I've been using kettlebells for my workouts lately. I'm really enjoying the kettlebells because what is it? They're rhythmic movements, right? Whereas opposed to like when I'm doing squats, boom, right? It's very linear. It's not rhythmic. It doesn't feel like body massage, right? It's not working my fascia the same way, or at least the way I want it to work my fascia, right? So it's fitness too, right? It's fitness because the fascia needs to be trained in multiple planes of motion, man. It's physiological because we got to talk about the nervous system. We got to talk about the fascia. We got to talk about the brain. Scientific. Also a little woo-woo because it's associated with the soul, associated with the mind, associated with your feelings. It's a little bit spiritual because as we get out the way, as we get more and more out of the way, right? Or discharge more and more of the tension, there's less blocks to peace. And we know that our Lord is the Lord of peace. God it brings peace, the peace of Christ. You want more peace, but if there's too much angst, there's too much blocks, there's too much kinesthetic dysregulation, hiccups in the body, tensions, shallow breathing, then it's like somebody's jamming the circuits. It's like somebody's jamming the satellite dish. I'm getting a vision of a movie from the 80s where they talked about jamming the satellite dish and they threw shot a big glass of jelly jam on the satellite dish. It was like one of those stupid movies from the 80s that people thought were funny, like Police Academy, or like those, it may have been Spaceballs, dumb movies like that. But anyway, yeah, we jam the circuit by getting in the way, and the circuits are literally our nervous system. So we got to clean the jam out, and clean the jam out by breathing, by relaxing, by playing, by letting go, and releasing the Wilhelm Reich called them neurotic holding patterns. He didn't have the word fascia back in the day. They didn't call it fascia. They knew there was muscles, they knew there was a nervous system, and they knew that the nervous system grips and the muscles contract. But they didn't realize, even though, here's an interesting thing. Chakras. A lot of hang up about chakras. Are chakras real? Are they demonic? What the fuck is a chakra? If you actually take a look at where Wilhelm Reich mapped the, like 7 bands of neurotic tension across the eyes, across the jaw, across the throat, across the chest, across the solar plexus, and the belly, and then the pelvic floor. All right, 1, 2, 3. Is that 4, 5, 6, 7? My counting is off. I'm not going to try to count. They line up, and so this is where the bands of fascia are. This is documented. Now, fascial experts know that, oh, there's actually lateral bands of fascia across those 7 areas. And we know, as we already said, you can do your own research, the nervous system interacts with the fascia. The fascia acts as an interface between the nervous system and the way the body is shaped and the way the body moves. I said earlier that the way the body is shaped, the way the body moves determines who you are, your character structure. Form equals function, right? And you can look into the work of Alexander Lowen and Wilhelm Reich if you like character structure to see, and then you go as far as just Hollywood and you see it. There are certain body types or even the way people look that they call them cast type, your cast type, right? Like the fat funny guy, right? Or like the lover boy, right? They look a certain way because they behave a certain way and everybody knows it. Those are called your character structures. So that's a whole lot more than just regulating your nervous system. And maybe I'll go over too many people's heads. But I find it the most fascinating thing in the world that by regulating your nervous system, you're not just calming a hypervigilant system down. You're changing the structure of the system. If you can truly regulate your nervous system, you don't just feel better, you become better. You become better because you let go of the neurotic holding patterns. Oh, of course, we were talking about chakras. In each of these areas, these bands of muscular armoring. And if everything I'm saying makes sense to you up until this point, the body, then I can safely say that the body is the brain. The body is the brain. Where does the brain end and the body begin? There is nothing. And the fascia wraps all around this entire thing, in and through your organs also. So the brain is in the body. And the predominant predisposition or the predominant fear or the predominant hope or the predominant trauma of the mind tells the body how to be. Tighten the heart, tighten the chest, tighten the pelvic floor, right? Be loose and open in the belly, right? Eyes furrowed, right? That's my tendencies to furrow my brow, furrow the brow. I don't even know I'm doing it. Why? Because my brain, through the fascia, has created a neurotic holding pattern, meaning like a habit, a bad nervous system habit, that then determines if I walk around like this all the time, people will think I'm mean, even if I'm not angry, because it's become a neurotic holding pattern. So the world is going to mirror back to me something I don't want to see. To regulate the nervous system, we have to become conscious of what we're doing in our body. We got to be conscious of what we're doing in our body, and then we get to train ourselves out of the bad physical habits. So we train ourselves out of the bad physical habits, you're going to be doing things a little differently, breathing differently, walking differently. You will likely look different too, without you having to do it. You're doing it at the nervous system level, at the fascial level. Change the body, change the mind. Raise your hand and let me know down below if that's a series you'd want to hear from me, dudes. Done.